Welcome back. Young investors are deciding to put their money into riskier assets despite the new capital gains tax changes which are set to begin on July 1 next year. The rising cost of living as well is a big issue too, but investment platform Raiz has analysed its 350,000 customers, finding a large majority of its young customers are choosing riskier portfolios. So let's bring in here the CEO of Raiz, Craig Keary. Craig, thanks for your time. Why do you think young Aussies are more sort of inclined to go riskier?
I think what's really encouraging, I think young Aussies are now global citizens. They have a greater appreciation for some of those global trends, in particular things such as technology and international investing. And also because what we do as a platform, we allow young Aussies to invest on a weekly or a monthly or a fortnightly basis. So they understand the power of compounding, and they understand that it is about discipline, and that allows them to then take that long-term that long-term growth horizon.
Yeah, we know there's these new changes to capital gains tax from July 1 next year. Some investment groups have been telling me people are changing their strategies already ahead of time, going for more yield rather than high growth. Are you starting to see anything like that, or?
Not at this stage. We're certainly not seeing that, particularly with our younger investors. Let's call them Gen Z investors. What we're seeing is that those younger investors are trying to get ahead. They know that they can actually start investing now earlier, and because of that, they recognise that it is actually about growth and that long-term horizon. And ultimately, it is actually about sort of staying in the market.
Yeah, I know earlier this year you guys reached $2 billion in funds under management. I mean, how is it going? And is it mostly ETFs is the way that people would invest on the platform?
Correct, yes. So we have a range of different portfolios for our sort of circa 347,000 active customers. Those portfolios are geared towards ETFs. We also have an element of crypto, that's part of some of our growth-orientated portfolios. So it is very much a focus on ETFs. We are looking up in the future to introduce US share trading and Australian share trading, but at the moment we've got ETFs that are largely part of our portfolios.
Yeah, well, you talk US share trading. There's obviously been a lot of hype about some big companies over there like SpaceX, which really seemed to take the investment world by storm a few weeks ago. Would it be looking at some things like that?
Correct. I think what we're seeing is because of as I said, if I think back, if I look back, we've got Gen Z style investors that are largely using our product. We actually have a large cohort of other customers, but that Gen Z investor is really interested in global exposure. They're interested in global themes.
They do a lot of research.
They do research. We provide content to help them, but they do their own research. I think one of the things that I look at, if I was sort of thinking about my younger self, the investors today are very different to what I was doing back then. They're very interested in doing their own research. They're interested in taking an active interest in sort of their own destiny, and they're very interested in that sort of what I would call long-term growth horizon.
And out of the 350,000, how many would be Gen Z roughly? Is it a big proportion?
It's certainly a large proportion. It's not something we necessarily publish, but it is a large proportion. But we've got, any investor can join our platform. The other part of our platform is we've got a functionality that allows people to have kids accounts. So we've got parents or even grandparents that are helping getting the younger generation invested earlier. And that's actually really exciting.
Yeah, is there big sort of tax things they would have to do every financial year to do that, or?
Look, one of the things that our platform does is it produces a tax report, and then it's up to each individual to do their own tax filings.
So what are you hoping to achieve over the next sort of 6 months of this year?
Look, from my perspective, I've only been CEO at Raiz for six weeks, just over 6 weeks. What we're looking to do is to continue to get the message out to the Australian community that it is actually about discipline. It is actually about setting your goals, and it is actually about, those small habits will actually make a difference. With all this noise that's out there in the world, it's actually good old-fashioned compound interest, which actually will make a substantial difference.
So despite the economic environment, people are still putting money away?
Yes, despite the economic environment, people are still putting money away. And we also have a functionality which allows them to round up purchases.
Craig Keary, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.